Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Welcome to the Business Innovators Radio podcast. I'm your host, Rick Brown, and my guest today, this young lady is quite busy. Her name is Trish Lido. She is first and foremost a United States Navy veteran, hoorah. And in addition to having a deep background, almost 20 years in the mortgage industry, her passion today has quickly built her the reputation as being the expert in something called Facebook Lives and live stream video marketing. Trish has helped dozens of business professionals increase revenue through live video and strategic content marketing, with clients ranging from mortgage loan officers to website developers, SEO experts, and a whole bunch of others. She's a regular contributor now for the Industry Syndicate, which was founded with the mission of bringing together the best thought leaders and content creators in the real estate industry. Trish has also recently spoken at the Military Influencers Conference, sponsored by USAA, which is a very well-known organization to our military listeners, and at Agent 2021, a VaynerMedia event, as in Gary Vaynerchuk's VaynerMedia events, right? Trish, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much. Wow, I appreciate that introduction. That was probably one of the best ones I've ever gotten. And when I listen to it, I have to say, it's like I kind of look back on it and go, I've done a lot, and it makes me proud to kind of hear the amount of work that I've put in and the amount of people that I've helped to impact their lives. So that's awesome. Yeah,
you should be extremely proud. And you're an extremely busy person right now. I'm seeing you all over the internet, right? Doing other podcasts like this, putting out your own live streaming videos. And we're going to talk about that in just a moment and how that can help business owners. But let's talk first, talking about being proud of something. Let's talk about your military service for just a minute. As I mentioned, you're a Navy veteran, so thank you very much for your service. I'm always curious when I talk to veterans, and I love working with other veterans because there is a passion and a drive, a commitment to service members. And you know this, if you're a service member, that is just, you know, sometimes it's undescribable, but being able to work with somebody who comes from that background and having some very common beliefs and understandings is just the best. So I'm curious what you think is the biggest lesson that you think you learned from your time in the Navy that you carry with you today, either in business or in life in general?
Because it's just been like such a common factor in my life ever since I got out. I was in from 96 to 2000. I got out and I had a very tough time finding a job. For like 7 months, I couldn't find any work. Nobody would hire me, which has a lot to do with my mission right now with helping the veteran community with my business piece. But I think that my biggest lesson is that in order to be an outstanding leader, you must first be an outstanding student. And I think I pride myself on being an outstanding student. So that's probably my best lesson.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And that leads into the next question I was going to ask you is that what does leadership mean to you?
It means taking what you've learned, the lessons that you've learned, obviously as a student, right? So taking the lessons that you've learned and conveying that message to the people who need it and doing it in a way that you're connecting with them. And you're not speaking at them, you're speaking with them. You're taking them along that ride, that journey with you. I think that's the biggest thing that I've learned about leadership for me anyways. People resonate with me as a leader because I make them feel like they're a part of it. I don't speak at them. I don't speak to them. I speak with them and I engage with them and I make sure that there's a full understanding of what I'm saying and that they're on board with it.
Yeah, that's cool. And that's a nice segue back into what it is that you are doing today. Live stream marketing. Tell us about that.
So I started doing it Facebook Live specifically when it first became a little button on our phones. Because I'm an iPhone user. So anybody who's watching this or listening to it, I can't speak intelligently about Android, so please don't ask me to. I got a guy for that. But as an iPhone user, I was one of the original people to get the Facebook Live button on my phone. And when most people got it, like they may have gotten it, but they're just like, oh my God, there's no way I'm ever touching that button, because the idea of going live scared the hell out of them.
And just to make it clear, a Facebook Live, just briefly explain that.
So it's using Facebook as a platform, and then the vehicle within that platform being live video marketing or live video in general. Like if you go live, then you're live streaming on Facebook. So you've got over 2 billion people potentially that could see your video.
And does everybody have that access today?
I think I don't work at Facebook, so I don't know the real answer to that question, but yeah, pretty much.
It's a common feature, I think now. Yeah.
Yes. I think just about, unless you like misuse it, then you might not have it anymore. But I don't misuse it. I use it properly, and I've had it forever and ever. Amen. So yay.
Okay, so using that and live streaming to help other businesses, how does that work?
I use live video myself with the intention of educating, entertaining, or enlighten people. So I use the 3 E's of video marketing. If I go live and I have the intention of entertaining people, making them laugh, making them cry, making them, have a thought process, right? Or educating them, standing next to my whiteboard in my office and teaching them how to do something, or reading from a paragraph of a book that I really enjoy and analyzing that part of it, or going live and talking about a podcast or a live video, Facebook Live that I was interviewed on or that I listened to recently. Their content is anywhere and everywhere that we look. Just too many people overcomplicate it. So I use live video to convey messages, and like, I'm not trying to sound like a hippie, but to spread positivity, because there's way too much bad stuff in this world. And I like to think of myself as being a thought leader, in that I'm trying to provoke thoughts for people to have, to empower them to believe in themselves, and put together some sort of a mission and a pathway for them to find an answer in their life, and bring other people along the ride.
Share with us again the 3 E's.
The 3 E's of video marketing that I like to teach people are to educate, entertain, or enlighten. So either you're going to teach people, you're going to make them laugh, make them cry, whatever, or you're going to enlighten them. And enlightening could just mean, hey, I was sitting outside in a parking lot and I noticed that there was this huge bamboo tree that was sticking out of the ground. And I'm just looking around and I'm like, wow, there's really some like beautiful stuff in the Tampa Bay area. Spring is in the air. There's also like a sheet of pollen on my car and I need to go wash it. Like, it's enlightening and it's funny, so I win.
Spring is sprung. So you mentioned about not making things too complicated. What do you think is it that holds people back from doing the live video thing?
People say that they're scared of doing video because they don't feel confident. They don't know what to talk about. They don't like how they look on camera. Okay. And when I talk to most people, that's actually not the underlying problem. The underlying problem is the lack of confidence comes with that they don't have any kind of a structure. And so if you don't have a structure to what you're going to talk about, if you don't have like some kind of a blueprint that you're going to talk about, then it can turn into an absolute piece of chaos. You can go live, you can blabber on forever and ever and ever. There's no call to action. Nobody cares. And it's a colossal waste of time. So what I try to tell people is you're going to have the confidence when you know what you're going to talk about. So I teach people how to locate and create content that matters to their audience. And when you have that, if you've got content in your hand or readily available, then you'd be like, okay, cool. I could totally, especially if this is your industry, right? Like, so I speak pretty eloquently to the real estate and mortgage industries because I've got over 18 years in the mortgage industry. I've worked in that corporate America piece, right? I know real estate agents. I know their lingo. I've worked with them. I've got private clients who are real estate agents and property investors and all of that stuff. And that's the biggest piece that they're missing. If they just know what they're going to talk about, and you can give people like a step-by-step process to something, they're going to show up. They're going to watch your live video because you're giving them steps to achieve a goal. So that's going to help you then press live with purpose to show up with that content. It's going to increase your confidence level. It's not going to happen overnight, by the way, right? It's like going on the keto diet and saying, okay, I'm going to go keto on day 1 and then waking up the next morning and thinking that you're going to be 20 pounds lighter. Like, it doesn't work that way. So persistency and consistency are like 2 very important factors. If I wasn't as consistent and persistent with my business, I wouldn't have built the brand that I have now. And branding is everything. And I built my brand by doing the research, looking up the content, going live. It helped me increase my confidence. People started going, oh my God, she knows what she's talking about. This is awesome. And it just, you got to take it from there. But step 1 is you got to try.
Yeah. So that's a really, really good point. So you don't have to get things right. You just have to get it going.
You got to start. You got to
start. And so many people, and myself included, I've got a history of getting ready to get ready.
Oh my God. Right? I've done it.
Yeah.
Holy geez, trust me. I get it.
So it's tough, but at some point, and I don't know if it's ego, or I guess it is ego. I don't know, but you have to get over that. And you just, like you're saying, you just have to get out there and you have to do it. Are you going to make mistakes up front? Yeah, I agree. You're going to make a lot of mistakes up front, but the more you do it, the more comfortable you become with it. And as you said, when you're speaking about an industry that and you're comfortable with, that part of it really is the easy part. It's just getting kind of rid of that stage fright, I guess. So go ahead.
And you could just be telling a story. I mean, that's just it. It's like, you and I are both veterans, right? And pretty sure that we have the same document that we received when we exited the military, a DD-214.
Yeah, baby.
Right? To the average soldier, sailor, Coast Guard, Marine, whatever, you look at that document, it's like, oh, well, it's my DD-214, right? It's just my DD-214. That's your resume, but it's basically a book of stories on one piece of paper, right? If I went on to my DD-214 and I look at the certifications and specialty ratings that I got my enlisted air warfare specialty rating, right? There was an entire story behind that. I could go live right now as soon as we hang up this call. I could go live right now. I could tell that entire story, and I will win over the hearts of so many people. And it's not even about winning over their hearts, but I will win over the hearts of so many people. But I will inspire them to go, holy crap, I want to pull out my DD-214 now, and I want to talk about the story behind my ratings.
Right, because everything that a service member has on that DD-214 is something that they earned, right?
Absolutely.
There's nothing given away in them. There's nothing given away in life. But in the military, there's so much you have to go through. And even for me, I know sometimes I get hung up with, there's a lot of people who have done it. So what? Doesn't matter. Still
They're
earned
not
it.
you.
Yeah. And you still earned it. And you've earned
Correct.
the right to share that experience and that knowledge with others.
And not only that, but I want to take it a step further, because not only do I serve the veteran community, to me, the veteran community does not just stop at veterans. It stops at veterans and their families. That's mil spouses, that's daughters, that's brothers, that's sisters, that's, oh man, I get choked up about this. That's people that that they've buried, right? If you pick up a DD-214, for some people, that deployment is a story for the spouse to tell. What happened during that deployment that, you're home with the kids, or you're home with whatever, right? And you're having to deal with this, and this. You're having to buy and sell a home with the power of attorney. And you're thankful that you had that VA loan that got you 100% financing while your spouse was deployed. And you couldn't even talk to them because they're, triple security clearance or whatever. Like, that's a hard freaking story to tell. And it's an emotional story. But there's at least hundreds of thousands of military spouses out there who had to deal with that exact kind of situation. So that's why I tell people, so many service members, they come out and they're transitioning from military life to civilian life. And I'm like, that DD-214 is your book. That is a book of life.
That's great advice. I appreciate you sharing that. And I appreciate you mentioning the family members. That is a huge piece of this that I think in general, most of the public doesn't quite see or get. And it takes a huge toll on families. When a service member goes away, deploys, which the past 15 plus years, we've watched this happen again and again. Some service members deploying 4, 5, 6 times for 6 months to a year, 15 months at a time. It takes a huge toll on the family. And I'm here to tell you that some families are never the same after that.
They come home with PTSD. That can significantly negatively affect an entire family.
Yeah.
It's hard. But you know what? That's a story that needs to be told because people need to understand that. So that's why when people come to me, especially the veteran community, when they come to me, if I get a nonprofit that reaches out and says, hey, we'd like you to speak, that's something I'm going to speak to. And I'm going to give them some really actionable ways that they can use social media, whether they want to be on live video or just write a blog or do audio only or get on a podcast. These stories have to be told because there's so many people out there that they're just hanging hope on, is my spouse going to return? Right. So
yeah.
and again, I mean, I'm not trying to get super heavy. This applies to anything and everyone. Like, guys, people are battling cancer every day. People are battling rheumatoid arthritis. Are you kidding? They're like, more people I know that are getting their late 30s, early 40s. Like they have severe RA, and it's horrible. Right. But these are the conversations that more people need to be having. And people are so scared. They're like, I don't have content. I don't have content. Content isn't just our business. Content is our life.
That's great advice. I really appreciate you touching on that. So you've also, as I mentioned at the top, you've had the opportunity here in the past several months to grace a couple of pretty big stages, right? the USAA event last fall, and just to kind of give an idea of some of the other folks who were on that stage, David Gale, the head of MTV Films, Jim Koch, maybe one of the biggest names there, founder, brewer of Sam Adams Beer. Yay, beer.
It was awesome.
Huge.
It was awesome. Yeah, it was awesome. I tell you what, that was an incredible experience for me because that was the second or third time I spoke at an event, and that was over 500 people. And big fat shout out to my buddy Cortez Riggs, my brother from another mother. He's retired Air Force and he runs the MIC. That's his baby. And all I'm going to say is this year it's in DC in September, and it's going to be bigger and badder than ever. And I can neither confirm nor deny whether or not I will be speaking there again.
Well, with any luck at all, we will see you there. And talk about real quick, too, about the other event that you participated in just a couple months ago, in fact, the Agent 2021 event with Gary Vaynerchuk and his team.
That was incredible. So first of all, talk about, those were like two big events that were just so very well planned. VaynerMedia, guys, like for those of you who don't know, some people know who Gary Vee is, some people don't. But VaynerMedia, if you just Google VaynerMedia, it is, I think, the number one marketing or media company in the world, like on a global level. Like Gary Vee is just ridiculous. And the cool thing about Gary is that he doesn't just do VaynerMedia. Like he's got his fingers are in about 15, 20 freaking cookie jars. The man is he's unbelievable. He's a complete serial entrepreneur and he's phenomenal at what he does. But that event was fantastic. He's personal friends with the owner of the Hard Rock Stadium, business partners with them, right? The owner of the Miami Dolphins. And he rented out the whole stadium. And that stadium has like several different like courts to it. So there's a tennis court. I think there's I'm going to sound like an idiot right now. I think there's a volleyball court, a tennis court. There's a football stadium. It's got a lot going on. There were well over 1,000 people there. What they do is Agent 2021 brings together the mortgage, real estate, auto, and insurance industries and travel industries. And it brings all these professionals together. And what he does is he wanted to like curate this entire day of teaching actionable steps for using social media effectively, right? So the folks at Facebook were there, Instagram was there. He had some folks that are actually on his staff. So like I got to sit next to Jeff Nicholson, who is, I think he's the chief media officer. I might be a little bit off by this, but I think he's a chief media officer for VaynerMedia. He sat right next to me. All I wanted to do was just sit back and listen to him talk. So I sat on the mortgage panel with Todd Bookspan, John Downs and Jeff Zimpfer and all of these gentlemen and Jeff Nicholson and all of these gentlemen. I was the only lady on the stage, and they were so gracious. They were so nice to me. And yeah, it was an incredible opportunity to really give some actionable steps, some just actionable advice for how to use live video marketing to the mortgage and real estate piece. But it was cool because, we're doing this thing and then we're networking afterward. I made a ton of contacts, lots of networking done. And then people were going live and tagging me afterward and saying, hey, we saw Trish Lito speak at Agent 2021. And then they were using my tag, 5-minute lives. And I'm like, oh man, like that's just powerful. It's incredible. And it opened up so many doors. So I'm eternally grateful.
So for other people, and this ties into what you do, but for other folks who are trying to get into opportunities like that and speaking at events, any thoughts on that advice?
Yep. Get some really good content and go live consistently. And when you see the events pop up and they're looking for speakers, apply. That's if you don't know what the answer is going to be if you don't ask, right? But if you want them to notice you and you want to stand out as somebody who should be on that stage, as somebody who should be speaking at their event, then you better damn well prove yourself, right? So I was on the phone with Kim Garcia, who's the SVP of VaynerMedia. When they chose me to be on their mortgage panel, I was on the phone with them for about 10 minutes. I'm going to gather that they were looking at my social media links while I was on the phone with them. But I mean, we sent them my bio with my links. They emailed us back, I think, just a few minutes later and said, we'd love to get on the phone call with her. And I got on the phone with them, not even 10 minutes in, she invited me to be on the mortgage panel. And again, a massive shout out to Kim Garcia. You want to talk about the hardest working lady in the marketing business. Holy jeez. You gotta be somebody pretty damn like on it to be working for Gary Vee and be his right-hand woman. She's incredible.
I can imagine.
She's a force to be reckoned with. I'll tell you that right now. I have massive respect for her. So yeah.
So the advice there is the same as doing the live video marketing, right? Persistency and consistency.
You got to do it. You got to show up. If you want to get seen, you got to be seen.
So how then you were talking to an audience there of real estate, auto insurance, et cetera. So how does this play into the real estate industry? We have a lot of listeners in the real estate industry. How can they use the live video marketing to help them?
Personal branding. I don't want when I talk to any real estate agent, they're like, well, what am I going to talk about? I'm like, listen, you can talk about real estate till you're blue in the face, right? Mm-hmm. But people are going to pick up the phone because of who you are. People are going to reach out to you because of who you are. If you're a stick in the mud, if you're just showing up in a suit every day, all day, you might attract people who appreciate somebody who shows up in a suit all day, every day. But if you're a real estate agent who you want to show people like the lousy days of real estate marketing and what it means to be a real estate agent and the hard times and the behind the scenes stuff, and you want to be transparent as hell in flip flops and a t-shirt and talking about how, hey, maybe a deal fell through and this is what I could have done differently next time. Guess how many more people are going to be attracted to that? How many more people are going to appreciate the journey? You got to brand yourself. And real estate's a super tough market right now because everybody's a real estate agent. But less than 20% of the real estate agents in this country are actually profitable. And by profitable, I mean they're averaging one sale per month or year, right? Everybody else has like a side hustle. So I see a lot of property investors out there that are absolutely crushing it using live video right now.
And what about
two of them are clients of mine. It's incredible. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, please keep going. Give us a little bit of a case study.
So two of them are clients of mine. And so one of them, and I don't want to say their name because I don't want to, put it out there because they're doing it on their own. They're doing a great job. But one of them is he's been in real estate for over 15 years, investing, title company stuff, looking up title and abstract, like all of this stuff. So I'm getting on a strategy call with them. And, I said, I think you need to have like each week, like do kind of maybe like a theme, because people who want to invest in real estate, they might not necessarily call a real estate agent for that. I'm just saying it's the truth, right? But they want to just kind of do it on their own. So as a real estate agent, my advice would be, if you really want to get people's attention, have them want to work with you, then maybe you need to start explaining to people, first of all, do the branding piece. Who are you as a person? Okay. And then the second piece is going to be, why should people pick up the phone and call you? What are you going to tell them about you as a real estate agent that makes them understand the importance of needing an agent when they're getting ready to buy or sell a house? Why do I need an agent? Right? And so, and I mean, go deep. Why do I need an agent? If your inspection fails, why is that important for me to know what I need to know about my house when I'm getting ready to sell it? What part of the inspection could fail? What part of a homeowner's insurance policy is needing wind mitigation, and how can wind mitigation help reduce the price of my homeowner's insurance policy every year? Now, as a real estate agent, that tells you need to reach out to your insurance buddies, your collaborative partners in the insurance space, get on a Facebook Live with them and interview them to understand why the next home buyer should double check whether or not the houses that they're looking for have wind mitigation.
There's so much in real estate. It's funny. I had this conversation recently with another friend of mine. There's the whole do-it-yourself piece of real estate. What do you have? FSBO, for sale by owner, I think. I think that's the right term. But there's so much involved in real estate. My gosh, I couldn't imagine. And I've had to move, military, of course, had to move several times during my adult lifetime. And it's not something, every time I think I can wrap my brain around it, it's overwhelming. So
it is overwhelming. And that, I worked at USAA for 3 years as a VA mortgage underwriter. That's all I did. I cranked out VA loans all day, every day for 3 years. And I loved it. The only reason why I had to leave is because I had my son, I had 2 kids in 2 years, and I couldn't afford to pay for daycare for baby number 2. So I ended up getting a work from home job with another company. But while I was at USAA, guys, there's, and you know this, because you just spoke about it, there's that consistency with VA loans that not enough people understand. If a soldier's PCSing, that closing date is so freaking crucial. If they're getting ready to PCS, their spouse is going to be in a hotel with babies and maybe a dog and whatever. That's a topic of conversation that any VA loan officer or real estate agent could have on a Facebook Live and say, hey, this is what you need to be prepared for. If the inspection falls through, if the termite report comes back and it's bad and it's got to get tented, or if the seller drops out last minute, something happens, anything could happen. What are some things that we could do to help prepare those potential home buyers when that soldier's getting ready to PCS? Because he's still got to ship out.
I'm having flashbacks right now, by the way, as you're describing all this. Been there.
I get it. I totally get it. With real estate, if you're a real estate agent, a loan officer, mortgage broker, what's your customer service look like on the back end? What kind of do you have empathetic loan processors on the phone with your prospects, with your customers, with your buyers that are really they care whether or not these people are going to close on their home? Or is it just, whatever, it is what it is, move on to the next customer? That's a human being in that transaction. Absolutely. So the customer service piece has to be taken care of too. There's I'm pretty sure I just pumped out 10 different pieces of content for real estate agents to talk about in a live video.
Awesome. And I think I have the feeling we can keep talking about this on and on and on. And I want to be respectful of your time. So let me shift gears a little bit on you here. All right. I want to play a little game. You all right with games?
I love games.
Are you familiar with the Proust questionnaire?
No, but go ahead.
Okay, so Marcel Proust was a French novelist back in the early 1900s who believed that in answering some of the following questions I'm going to ask you, an individual reveals something about their true nature. And you really just need to answer with the first thing that pops into your head, okay?
Okay, I love it.
All right. What is your idea of perfect happiness?
0 debt, a completely remodeled RV, an annual pass to Disney, a condo on the beach, a condo in New Zealand, a condo in New York City, and making people happy, and my children are happy and healthy.
Awesome. What is your greatest fear?
Failure in all aspects of my business. I don't want to fail.
What is your current state of mind?
Excitement and nervousness.
For what?
My business, because I just went all in as of Friday at 5 p.m.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Which words or phrases do you think you most overuse?
I can't. Well, what if I don't know if I can say.
Okay. Who is your favorite author? Do you have one right now?
Man, I love Russell Brunson's books for business. I think that he just it's just such an easy read. And I'm currently reading Millionaire Success Habits by Dean Graziosi, and I'm really enjoying that.
Who's your favorite superhero?
Ooh. Oh, God. Okay. Marvel Comics, it's going to be Iron Man. DC Comics, it's Superman.
You know your comics. That tells us a lot. All right. Finally, what is the best military service?
The United States Armed Forces.
Good job. I appreciate that. Trish Lito, really appreciate your time. How can other business owners find out more about you and how you can help them?
I would love for them to visit my website, trishlito.com. You can find me on LinkedIn, Trish Lito, and you can find me on Facebook, Trish Lito, and I'm on Instagram, The Expert Connection.
Trish Lito, thank you very, very much for sharing your wisdom with us and your time today. We truly appreciate it. That's it for this episode of the Business Innovators Radio podcast. I'm Rick Brown. Until next time, keep innovating.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.